Restoring semblance of normalcy on the last day of the budget session, the Rajya Sabha conducted some brisk business on Wednesday and passed the undisclosed Foreign Income and Assets Imposition of Tax Bill 2015, better known as Black Money Bill, that talks about curbing generation of black money overseas. The bill was earlier passed by the Lok Sabha in a single day. Sensing that continuously disrupting the House could be counterproductive for it, the Congress on Tuesday had offered to engage in productive discussions on legislative business. Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will have to be credited for having maneuvered the Black Money Bill in Parliament. The Congress had insisted earlier that this bill will have to go through the standing committee according to parliamentary procedures. The talk about having a Black Money Bill or a law against black money stashed away in Swiss bank accounts has been doing rounds for a long time, and now the time has come to walk the talk, according to the finance minister. And the Congress would have cut a sorry figure if it had used parliamentary procedures to block this bill. India will not issue any fresh notices to foreign institutional investors, FIIs, for paying minimum alternate tax MAT, the government said on Monday in an apparent move to calm investors rattled by unexpected demand of past tax dues. The Income Tax Department has also asked all its field officers not to undertake any coercive action for recovery of demand already raised on foreign companies by invoking provisions on MAT, a kind of tax on capital gains made by FIIs. So far, the Tax Department has issued notices to 68 FIIs seeking 602 crore rupees as unpaid MAT. This has spooked investors, prompting funds to move out money from Indian markets. The minimum alternate tax has been one of the most contentious issues in which the government and Indian corporates have found themselves ranged against each other. The idea of imposition of MAT on FIIs was mooted by the previous UPA government, which made many multinational companies say that India is an unreliable place to do business. Today, slowly, the tide is turning. Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Thursday stuck to the April deadline for rolling out goods and services tax, but acknowledged that there was a lot of unfinished work which had to be completed during the monsoon and winter sessions of Parliament. The bill to amend the Constitution had to be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha as the Congress blocked its passage, arguing that it needed further consultations. Once the panel report is received, the upper house will have to clear the bill, which will then need to be ratified by at least half the state legislatures and will be followed by the GST bill settling out the details. But before the second bill is moved, the centre and the states will have to decide on the tax rate and other modalities, and the IT backbone also needs to be ready to converge all indirect taxes levied by the centre and the state into GST. Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is of the opinion that with inflation under control, growth rate rising, fiscal as well as current account deficit also under control, the economic recovery is on a positive track. He also feels that there are few more pending legislations in the Parliament, and that the economy is slowly turning from despondency to positive. After Bharat Mala and Sagar Mala, aimed at improving road connectivity in border areas and coastal regions respectively, the government has now cleared plans to connect 100 of the 676 district headquarters in the country with world-class highways. The Rashtriya Rajmarg Zilla Sanjayokta Pariyojana, approved by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a review meeting last week, entails development of 6,600 kilometers of highway at an estimated cost of rupees 60,000 crores. Most infrastructure industry observers would today concede that the best way to perk up the economy as well as the job scenario would be to invest more in roads. There has been so much of infrastructure deficit built over decades that the best bet for the government to bring about overall development as well as prosperity would be to invest in roads, especially in the rural areas. The government will hold a stakeholder meeting on foreign direct investments in e-commerce retailing. India allows 100% FDI in B2B e-commerce activities, wholesale trade, but foreign investment is not allowed in B2C e-commerce companies. Japan's Uniqlo global e-commerce firms Amazon and eBay, as well as countries such as Japan, have been pushing for easing of foreign investment restrictions in the sector. This would mean that the existing policy will remain, and for any additional stake more than 51%, government approval will be needed. But officials also say that no such proposal for any stake more than 51% has been received by the government yet. The government is also of the opinion that if there is any change in the policy regarding foreign stake in organized retail, especially the multi-brand retail, It will send a wrong signal to foreign investors abroad. The Defence Ministry on Wednesday night cleared several major long-pending stall projects worth over 25,000 crore rupees, including 11,929 crore rupees for 56 medium transport aircraft by the Tata Airbus Consortium, 2,900 crore rupees for 145 American M777 ultralight howitzer, and 3,000 crore rupees for around 200 Russian Kamov light utility helicopters. The Defence Acquisitions Council, chaired by Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, also cleared the acquisition of two Boeing 777-300 extended-range aircraft from Air India for the dedicated use by President Pranab Mukherjee and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two wide-bodied aircraft will now be reconfigured for the VVIPs, which will include an executive office and bedroom, and then fitted with advanced self-protection suites to jam and defeat hostile incoming missiles and encrypted satellite communication facilities by Boeing. The project, under which 16 aircraft will be bought from foreign OEM, original equipment manufacturer, and the rest 40 will be manufactured by the IPA, Indian Production Agency, in the next 8 years, will only mean that Indian private sector will have access to domestic military aerospace sector. The Union government on Wednesday stepped up decision-making, approving stake sales in a clutch of state-run companies, including Indian Oil and NTPC, and giving a nod to a cut in politically sensitive urea subsidy without increasing prices for 4 years. The centre also approved a package to revive stalled highway projects. The crucial economic decisions show the government's resolve to accelerate reforms against the backdrop of growing clamour for quicker decision-making to boost growth. It is not surprising that China's economic growth and its new leadership in research, science and technology have taken place together. I particularly like the old Chinese saying, if you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach the people. In India too, the ancient saying is, Vyaye krute vartat eva nityam vidya dhanam sarva dhanat pradhanam. The wealth that increases by giving, that wealth is knowledge and is supreme of all possessions. This is one example of how our two nations are united in their timeless wisdom. These are the words of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was on a visit to China earlier this week. His speeches have become the most searched videos on internet, not just by Indians but also by host country China. And now we know why his speeches are the most sought after. 29 district land development banks will be shut down and the state will acquire their properties. The Maharashtra cabinet decided on Tuesday. The decision comes as the non-performing assets NPAs of these banks had built up beyond recovery. The NPA of 29 land development banks and the State Cooperative Agriculture Rural Multipurpose Development Bank totals to 1,897 crore rupees. Further, unrecovered loans from farmers have accumulated to 946 crore rupees. Maharashtra government plans to compensate bankers who will lose their jobs because of this closure. Those under the age of 50 will be given preference in government jobs by relaxing the recruitment policy, and those who prefer to have voluntary retirement will be given financial compensation, according to Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Patil says that these banks own large tracts of land which are worth about 1,500 crore rupees today, and the government plans to acquire this land and build offices. In a huge relief to thousands who have booked flats in Greater Noida West, also called Noida Extension and adjoining Noida, the Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed petitions by farmers from 65 villages who have challenged the UP government's decision to acquire the land for construction of residential clusters. People who have booked flats in this area were staring at uncertainty because of the continuing litigation related to land acquisition. The Allahabad High Court's October 21, 2011 judgment on this issue was challenged in the apex court by farmers and the administrative authorities of Greater Noida and Noida. Land acquisition has become a matter of contention for stakeholders in the development process. On the one hand, we have farmers who sell land and feel shortchanged once the development takes place in that land. And on the other hand, we have property buyers who invest in these areas but have no clue what the contentious issues are. Noida is a case in point, and the Supreme Court has done well to make things crystal clear.